To make my little chair, I've got this foam packaging, which already looks like a little chair. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting 3 centimeters off, and then I'm going to shape it to make a small chair. So I've cut my little piece of foam off, but the room that I'm making this chair for, this foam is way too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it down. So I'm just cutting it in half down the middle. So I'm just cutting the seat part at 3 centimeters. And the backrest, I'm going a little bit higher. So I'm going to 5 centimeters on that one. And now we're just going to cut it in half. So I've cut the bottom part in half. And now I'm just rounding the top part just here. And then we're going to just cut straight down on the seat like that. So we can get that small piece out. So there's our wee little chair that we're going to be working with. The rounded pieces that we cut off, I'm just going to be trimming this down just a little bit. I'm not touching this part of it. So I'm just going in like that. And we're just going to cut this small section out here. So I've cut the little pieces out like that. Once we glue these in, the little piece that we cut out, we're going to be putting in there to make the little cushion. So it looks like that. I'm going to be covering my chair with this kind of stretchy material. So what you're going to do is just take each of your little pieces and then just cover them. I'm not covering the back over here, so I can just put a piece of material to cover all the mess underneath that. I've got my armrests covered. A bit difficult to see with the material that I'm using. And I've covered the seat as well. So now what I'm taking is some cardboard, and I'm just going to be cutting a little square out like that, so it'll fit on the base of this chair, which we're going to just cover with material. And for the side of the arms on the chairs, I'm drawing a little template. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of that and then cover that with material. I've got all my little pieces covered, and now we're just going to put it together. So I'm going to be starting by putting these little pieces onto the side. And just gluing those down. I'm going to be using tacky glue for this. I've got the armrests glued on. And now I'm taking some of these small little beads. These are 4mm beads. And I'm going to be gluing them for the feet underneath the chair like that. I'm using T8000 to glue them on. I've got all the little legs glued on, and now all we have to do is add the little seat. And I'm going to be using the same packaging to cut out a small square, or 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, for a little cushion for the chair. I'm just using some crushed velvet to make the cushion. I'm using a glue stick to glue it on. I've put both the cushions onto the little piece, and now we're just going to fold that under. And then just trim the excess off. There we have our little cushions. Now we can just put those onto our chair. Black doesn't show up very well, but they're both there. I'll put one on each side. I'm not very happy that the chair cushions are so insignificant and insipid you can't see them on the chair. Even though this is for my witch's house, I'm still just going to put a little dot in the middle by just using some gold paint. So now you can see the cushions. So just a small little gold dot in the middle. One very, very easy way of making a little tiny chair out of packaging. Thank you so much for watching.